Hi everyone. In this video I would like to discuss an experience I vlogged about in relation to distraction and being exposed to distraction while you want to really focus and concentrate on whatever it is that you're doing. So the inspiration for this video came from an experience I had, interestingly enough, with a little praying mantis. And I was in the process of doing my nails, and this little praying mantis was like crawling all over my hands, my fingers, my nails, even while they had just been polished, and crawling on my face and my body. And it was interesting because my immediate response was to, want to move it away and place it on the table so that I can do my nails. But this little one was very persistent and kept on crawling all over my face, my hands, my fingers, my nails, the very places that I actually needed to focus on what it is that I was doing. So eventually, because this little one was so persistent, I did my nails in a way that considered him as well. So I had to the whole time, be aware of my body movements, my hand movements, my nail movements, my facial movements, because there was one moment even where he hopped onto my knee and I was about to put my arm there and I realized, whoa, wait a minute. So it was overall a fascinating experience in terms of, incorporating this little insect into the process of doing my nails, whereas usually, we might have the tendency to want to emotionally react, because the little insect is like bothering me and interfering with my focus and my concentration and my attention, what it is that I'm busy doing here in my space. But, it didn't take much to, incorporate the little one into my experience, my moment, my process. And it actually made it a lot of fun, I really enjoyed observing this little praying mantis hopping around all over the place. And this opened up some interesting points for me personally in relation to what I've realized in my process when it comes to distraction. And this primarily that I've realized in many moments that it was not so much my external environment that was distracting me as much as I was actually distracting myself, in the sense of shifting my focus and attention within me. For example, there were times in my living environment where there's many rooms and people go about their daily life or during the evenings as well, watching movies or series or listening to music or having conversations. And I would, for example, need to concentrate and focus. And there was a couple of times where I would be busy doing something and then there's just different sounds and noises and movements everywhere else in my external environment. And then I would start emotionally reacting, becoming irritated and annoyed and angry and frustrated. And, the more emotional I would get, the more my thoughts are going all over the place, everywhere else, except concentrating and focusing and paying attention to me and what I was busy doing in that very moment. So it's like odd in the sense that it's like when we want to sometimes concentrate or focus, that we want to say to existence, hey, you better stop everything and everyone else around me. Freeze, existence, for these couple of minutes or couple of hours. I want to create my bubble, my space. Nothing must penetrate. When, realistically speaking, that's not possible or plausible. And so, in my process and experience within this all, what I started doing was assisting and supporting myself to, when I realized that I was actually distracting myself the most in emotionally reacting and thinking and projecting about everything else that was going on around me, that I would be busy doing something and the moment my emotional reactions would come up, I'd breathe in, breathe out, identify the emotions, do a forgiveness statement, slow down my thoughts, slow down my emotions, and really push myself to almost train myself in focusing on what is that was right here in front of me, my room, my space. And it took some time, a couple of months, interestingly enough, but there was definitely progression throughout those months, because I had for most of my life been that type of person in terms of I need absolute quiet around me, no movement, no sound, no distraction, no nothing, to be able to really focus, concentrate, and pay attention. But so, it took that process of every time taking an in-breath and an out-breath, not emotionally reacting, slowing down my thoughts. Because, if you honestly have a look at it, what's going on in your external environment can only distract your thoughts and your inner experience if you accept and allow it, and if you give it attention. So you're shifting your own attention and focus and concentration within yourself. Granted, yes, there were moments or experiences where, once I've calmed down everything within myself and I assessed the, shall we say, the extent of responsibility or obligation that was in front of me, that, the music or the people around me were, a bit too much. And then I would simply ask them, to tone it down. That's it. And, just to slightly level the sound, because, obviously, yes, there are sometimes those occasions where, you really, the external environment does push your limits of concentration and focus and attention, in the sense of, for example, since there were boom boxes just outside your window, that would be a different story. But if the noise in your external environment is simply background noise, there you can assist and support yourself to just observe your emotional reactions, where your thoughts go, where your mind goes. So this is the main point that I wanted to share for this video, in terms of the experience of distraction and what I realized within it for me personally, and how you can actually train yourself to, whether there is background noise or not, you can push yourself to focus your thoughts yourself, within yourself and the space that you're in, on what is right here in front of you. Just have to watch and observe where your thoughts go, where your reactions go, because that's the moment where you yourself, within yourself, is actually creating most of the distraction. And looking at the moment with the praying mantis and doing my nails as well, where there's sometimes that you'll be doing things in where you have a particular routine of doing it, a particular way of doing it. Like me as well with my nails, there was a very particular way and place and space and time that I do it so that I won't get distracted, or something or someone won't interfere. So within this, including the praying mantis into that moment, with doing my nails, and it's actually assisting and supporting me out of my usual routine. That was also quite something to walk through, but it just took me a moment, because I realized, rather than pushing it out, pushing it aside, or reacting to it, include it in my experience. And I'm glad I did, because it was quite different. All right, thank you very much.